Hello everyone, Simon here from the Whales of Wall Street. We are looking at Verasity, that is VRA on the exchange. One of our biggest bags here at Whales of Wall Street, and certainly one of the best projects we've seen out there. Very unique. Those that have not seen our intro video to Verasity, go and check that out. We'll leave a link at the end of this video. But for those that do know Verasity, we will talk in a moment's time about some roadmap scenarios for Q4 that we are looking forward to ticking off, and hoping that Verasity will entail an influx of movement upwards in the chart as we have seen over the last few weeks. Absolutely incredible gains for Verasity, and long may that continue. But we're going to look at some potential buy opportunities as we're still entering a bit of a bearish move, but let's talk about that in a moment's time. But like I said, if you are new to Verasity or this is your first Verasity video, go and check out the intro video, but hopefully you'll learn something even in this video as well. So just a couple of topics, guys, before we go into the chart. We're going to start off with the roadmap aspect. So a number of things obviously happened in Q3, especially around the painting of the NFTs aspect. So for those that don't know, Verasity has a couple of patents already in there. In fact, I think they have a multitude of them, to be honest, but two major ones in particular from this year. One being around a patent that's holding the ability to do this unique aspect of essentially utilizing their blockchain technology to essentially verify ads and remove kind of like fraudulent ad spend and this, that and the other, like using bots and things like this, because apparently there's a multitude of billions of dollars are lost to a multitude of companies across the world every year from fake advertising, fake views and all of these kind of things. So they really put that into an emphasis of trying to beat that system, utilizing the Veracity's, essentially their verification and trust mechanism. And they've just launched the proof of view NFT patent as well. So this is phenomenal, and it kind of ties in what we're going to talk about in a second in the roadmap. But the NFT aspect, of course, like some people being burnt in the last few months of fake NFTs or not owning the correct editions and things like that, and it's kind of putting a stop to all the fraudulent and the manipulative possibilities there are when you're coming to buying and selling NFTs in the future as well as now. And one of the big things moving forward for Verasity in their product section, I mean, there's so much going on this year already, but for Q4, the NFT marketplace, massive development going on with their own marketplace. Proof of views, of course, is going to be a big topic around that, of course. I think, in my opinion, I think that's what's going to make their marketplace really stand out from competitor ones. And there's, of course, a multitude of NFT competitors out there right now, but I think the fact that they have a patent behind it in the terms of the verification and everything like that, I think it will stand out from the crowd, in my opinion. And I also think that'll have a great positive attribution to the influx, hopefully, of a Verasity price move in the near future as well. As well as that, they've got the VRA player and the VRA views. So this is around kind of the essentially it's kind of like YouTube, but it's their own sort of platform and integration as well of influencers out there or other channels that perhaps have their own websites, and they're utilizing the VRA player extensions within HTML5 coding and everything like that. And in occasion during the video, a reward mechanism will come up on the screen and allow people who are watching the videos, essentially like view to earn kind of things, a chance to earn some Verasity into their wallets, their VRA wallets. So it's an incredible little system, and I'm sure as time goes on it will be integrated into other video platforms more and more within it, especially. And I do love this point as well further down here about eSports, because we talk about eSports quite a lot, especially around our gaming tokenomics videos, play to earn, but also things like Illuvium. We've talked about Network, we've talked about obviously Omi and all these kind of things, Mana for Decentraland Sandbox, all these cool things. But eSports in general, which we'll touch upon in a second because of a very cool little blog that the Verasity CRO has put together. We'll talk about in a second, but esports in general, I think, is going to be a gigantic market for these guys, and that whole play to earn mechanism and proof of view aspect is going to be phenomenal. So yeah, around the EFC, very much around what we just discussed, live streaming basically, and helping the streamers as well as the people on the other end watching them, to have some really amazing engagement perspectives moving forwards. And that play to earn, view to earn aspect is going to be gigantic in my opinion. So yeah, very much other areas around esports, and then ad fraud detection with proof of view with partners. So that mechanism of partnerships is going to keep moving forwards. And the Verasity corporate site revamp. So that's one thing I think we mentioned quite a few videos back now, about just a bit of an improvement on the corporate site. If people were to perhaps take this more seriously moving forward. So it's good to see they're doing that as well. So that's just a few pointers on the quarter. One or two things that's not mentioned here. I mean, we believe, just based on a few interviews with some internal employees with Verasity, they are anticipating a listing on a tier 1 exchange in this quarter. There's no specific date, but we feel that Binance was on the cards. It certainly was talked about earlier this year. And when they mentioned about this in Q4, then obviously everyone's kind of anticipating that might happen, but it might not be Binance, it might be another tier 1. But certainly, my goodness, if that happens, the price will fly if it has not done so already. But let's take a look at this quick blog. I'm not going to read through this. All I would say is I recommend reading this on the Drum open mic. So very much around Veracity CRO Justin Venska on how blockchain is poised to clean up ad tech. So very much emphasizing the points we kind of just made about the advertising and verification and things like this. But what I liked particularly about this article was its conversations around esports. I was mentioning really about this whole kind of like $1.8 billion market as of kind of next year, if you like. It's an incredible market to be involved in. Esports is a big passion of mine. I've dealt with multitude of partnerships in esports over the years. I kind of, even when I was a kid watching crazy, I think it was like Games Master or something on Sky One, and that was the birth, in my opinion, of esports, because of that whole LAN and playing people across the world kind of thing wherever you are. And that kind of took off. ESL, by the way, if you are interested in gaming, there's an ESL documentary. I can't remember the exact name of it, but it follows the founder of ESL maybe like 10-12 years ago, and it shows his whole story about going through internet cafes and then into like filling stadiums, like 200,000-300,000 people at a time. And if you haven't been to an esports tournament, or you haven't been to something like Comic-Con or whatever that has like an ESL arena, I've got some great friends in ESL, and I fully recommend, even just for the day out, just to experience the magnitude of this market. But going back to the point, watch and earn. I truly think any kind of assets that are involved in watch and earn or play to earn are massive opportunities to have in your portfolio. We've seen some great movements from a majority of different kind of gaming platforms and things like that. I think it's like, what was that, yield earn or something, and something box, I can't remember what it's called, but they are absolutely gigantic, in terms of the price points and everything. But great gains have been made this year. And anything, I always talk about AI, IoT, absolutely huge markets. Esports, gaming, guys, honestly, any kind of tokenomic assets within gaming and esports in particular is definitely something you should be thinking about in your portfolio. Not financial advice, more of a gigantic opinion just from my personal experience and my knowledge in these sectors, just from the real world, as they call it. But yeah, Veracity's unique technology is already available to more than 2 million video publishers with 110 billion monthly views. Okay, this is just the beginning of Veracity, guys. And a couple of other topics. Some people have asked, how do you stake Veracity? So if you go onto the Veracity website, you see this VRA wallet here, and you basically just sign up to an account, which you can do on the right hand side there. but then also earn VRA utilizing through viewing, watching and everything. But also you can see things like when you transfer across from KuCoin, for example, I think you need like 2,000 Verasity tokens to push across. And then to come back onto an exchange, I think you need to use something like 700 Verasity tokens to bring it back. So for me, I'm not staking right now just because I don't have like gigantic, humongous bags, because it would take quite a bit of time to accumulate that back. I know a load of you out there have got maybe a multitude of them, and fantastic, well played. But I'm just patiently waiting. I mean, it comes around in March time. I think they might reduce or even remove the staking APR. It's currently at 25.5%. So we're going to be interesting to see what they do. Hopefully they'll keep it on in some capacity, because I do anticipate, like, if we do go into a bear market, I would very much like to certainly have my Veracity staking for at least a year or two before the big next runs in a few years time. So I just thought I'd cover those points, guys, before we jump into the chart. But yeah, this is kind of what I was saying about the opportunity to have content, or certainly influencers or channels content on here, and you get rewarded for watching them as well. So let's jump into the chart, guys. So hopefully you found that quite interesting. Do smash that like button if you have done so. Thought that this was good, and also subscribe to the channel if you're not done so already. And if you're new to the channel, welcome aboard, and hopefully you're enjoying the content. Absolutely loving it, guys. We're smashing through the subscribers. I can't believe it. We're nearly going towards 3,000 already, so thank you so much for your support. We really do enjoy doing this. We wish we had more time to do more videos. We're trying our best, but yeah, it can be challenging sometimes. We're trying to balance life and work and your hobby, if you like, in this space. So guys, let's take a look at this chart. Veracity had a gigantic rise of 166% from this point here around 29th of September. A low, I think, was low of 0.025. We've shot up all the way to this high point recently, and an all-time high, by the way, of around 0.054. So we've had a bit of the retracement. If you remember, we drew this area here of an interest of where we think we might sell. We actually did start selling in that area. We didn't unfortunately sell towards the all-time high, but we did certainly sell around that 6-cent mark. I waited for a drop down. I bought some more back in at 52, and I'm just waiting patiently, guys. I've got a buy area around here as well, I think just under the 5-cent mark. That's not because we don't believe in the project. We just thought this is a gigantic move, and historically, you know, there's hardly any data for the support mechanism around here. So we kind of put this one down here because of this previous resistance on a number of touch points, especially around here in the beginning of September, and also around here in April time as well, where we came close to that all-time high before. So I do have an interest in this area, and I'm being also bullish in my thought process of trying to grab some around this 4.5-cent mark as well. Now, this MACD here, if you can see closely, we are having a sell-off. The buy-ins are cooling off. The MACD is reducing. As we mentioned a few videos back, this is quite a big gap. We did anticipate a correction coming at some point, not necessarily immediately, but certainly maybe a wave down. And I do think realistically that this is going to be an interesting area, and particularly around this area here as well. And in fact, what I'm going to do, just for reference points, guys, I'm just going to put in something. I think roughly around here is probably going to be an interesting area. So it's probably the lower end of what we put our buy option, but certainly around this 4.5 to 4-cent mark. And I think we need this in a way to have support here so we can start pushing up. Because the last thing we want to do, guys, is have this gigantic rise continuing, and then we have an immediate drop off. That's where the volatility comes in, and manipulations and things like that. I do like to see the steady approach. I think this is quite a long range one. I was really surprised it went on for so long without some, you know, key corrections. But here we are, guys. I think we may be entering that. Not saying we'll definitely come down to these areas, but I'm just preparing just in case with the bag of profit that I took at these areas. I'm glad I did it around that 6-cent mark. But like I said, I didn't anticipate us to push towards that 7-cent so quickly. But that is the name of the game, guys. You take profits along the way. You don't know where the top is. You know, there's a lot of people around here saying this is going up and up. It's going to 10 cents. No way, no way. So let's just have an interesting maybe a few days to see if we tail around this area. So we're currently bouncing around this support mechanism of around 5.2 cents. As we're recording right now, we're about 5.4 cents. So yeah, it's gonna be quite interesting. If we get a close, guys, like I said with the Proton video the other day, if we get a close maybe over the next day or two on this area above this 5.2, there is a possibility that we will just continue to rise upwards and get past this previous resistance here at 5.6 and then push up again. But if we do get a bit of a challenge around here and a bit of a few more wicks downwards below this 5.2, that's where I see us trying to bite down here. I don't think it would be very long term. I think it would be a short turnaround over maybe a week or so. But this area is interesting and certainly critical for where we're going. So this is the area that I'm talking about around here. And you can see we tried to push back up and it kind of got rejected, and we're now sort of bouncing around here. So we might see a continuation of a tail off. We might bounce around this area before jumping back down and back up again. So just keep that in mind. So I'm drawing squiggles everywhere again. But yeah, I'm being very cheeky putting some down here, but let's see what happens. But I do think this is a good sensible area, guys. 12,000% up year to date. Weekly we are down 4%, which is understandable because we do need to take some profits, or some people are certainly still tailing off on that profit aspect, and we do need to find those new support areas, in my opinion, as just mentioned. So that's understandable. But on the month, the 3 months, the 6 months, it's all nice and green. It's, look at that 3 month one as well, nearly 500%. In fact, it probably was without this little bit that we've had over the last few days, but absolutely incredible. And I love talking about Verasity. I think it's a phenomenal project. The RSI, by the way, guys, as I know it's had the trip down, but what's quite interesting is if we get stability here, that's kind of where I mentioned about this area, we could push up again. But I'm also anticipating that because we're in this middle region now, if we float around this 60 to 55 mark, we might come down a bit further. So it's really interesting times. We'll definitely do an update on Verasity more often. I'm going to try and do it at least every 2 days like we do with Proton. Sorry guys, we've got masses of schedules, loads of videos, trying to accommodate everyone, and I'm trying not to lose my marbles. We're going too mad with them all, but yeah, here we are, guys. Very much enjoying doing these videos, as you know. Guys, let us know in the comments below if you're holding Verasity, if you're staking, what are you doing? Did you sell near this top high here? Are you holding? What are you doing? And by the way, guys, our price prediction is up here at 21 cents. I have been writing down people's predictions in the comments, and I will be listing them over the course of the next few days for this chart, for a chance to win a ledger at the end of this year. So let us know what you think Verasity will be on the 31st of December. I'm really interested to know, or at least tell us what you think the all-time high will be this year. Maybe we'll plot it that way. I think that'll be a bit more fun. But guys, let us know, and we will wrap that up there, I think. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next Verasity video. Goodbye and take care.